Kamala Harris appeared on Saturday Night Live over the weekend, and some people are calling this cheating. Indeed, this is NBC offering assistance to Kamala Harris's campaign in a way that violates FCC rules. But we got to break down what the word cheating really means, and we got to hold on, because NBC did offer Donald Trump 2 minutes of airtime over what's called the equal time rule. That is, if you're a public broadcaster with public licensing and you want to have a presidential candidate on your show or on your program or your network, you have to offer equal time to the other candidate. I do not believe what they did was fair. I believe this still massively benefits Kamala Harris. Donald Trump did issue a statement on NBC, but I don't think it was nearly as good. And on top of that, you have Tim Kaine running for the Senate in Virginia, getting an appearance where he shouts his name out. He's running against a Republican. There's an election happening, and many are saying they still broke the rules, but they're going to get away with it. Now, the question is, why wait till the last minute when Lorne Michaels, this is apparently going around that Lorne Michaels had said, if we give any one of these candidates airtime, we got to give it to everybody. So we don't want to do that. But then they did anyway. Why wait until the Saturday right before the election when the other candidates, yes, more than one, but namely Donald Trump, would not have time to make a comparable appearance on a major show and earn any favors? Yes, because cheating. But it's not just SNL. We've got a couple stories for you. I'm not going to suggest we know exactly what's going on. I'm just going to tell you the accusations, the fears, and say one thing important, the most important thing: go vote. Nothing else matters. Go vote, okay? Ignore the noise, ignore SNL, ignore weird ballot things. Go and vote. That's it. If you're in a blue state, if you're in a red state, if you're in a swing state, I don't care. You have to do this. If you actually believe what you claim to believe, if you actually dare to espouse the values you dare to espouse, all of it meaningless unless you go and vote. Because I'll tell you this. I met a lot of people who tell me, Tim, I watch your show all the time. And then I ask, like, what do you do? Oh, I don't do anything. You do nothing. Okay, well, look, I got to be honest. Like, on a day-to-day basis, fine. You don't need to go out and knock on doors. You don't need to go talk to your friends and family. You can be scared. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. You can be like, I don't want to stick my neck out. I get it. But today, tomorrow, of all days, go and vote. There's going to be shadow campaigns, and there's going to be tricky games. In this instance, I think it's fair to say cheating, but you know what the left is going to do is they're going to argue that when I say cheating, they're going to imply that I'm talking about fraud or anything like. No, I'm talking about violating the spirit of the game. Right? Let's talk about what it is to cheat. Let's say we were going to do a 100-meter dash between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. I wonder who would win. I mean, seriously, I don't know that Kamala Harris can run fast. But cheating outright would be like, I'd equate fraudulent ballots to, I don't know, you're an ice skater and you whack the other ice skater in the leg with a crowbar or something like that. That's fraudulent ballot equivalent. But there's also things like using performance enhancers. So if you were going to compete in a race and you use some kind of like you did blood doping or something, it's cheating. It's just pure cheating. In this instance, in the election, if we have rules at the FCC about what you can do, and the Harris campaign comes on and rips off, they really did, rip off a Donald Trump joke, it's kind of weird, to make Kamala more notable and endearing and Tim Kaine, and they don't give the same opportunity to Trump, it is violating the spirit of an election, which is you present your ideas, you speak to the public, and then we all go out and vote. But this is an attempt to make Kamala more likable and endearing, and Trump did not get the same opportunity, even if he did get airtime. But you know what? They're probably thinking, we have no choice. We have to accept. Now we'll go through this. We'll go through this. There's crazier accusations of cheating, right? We have this strange ballot showing a blemish on the ballot, which could theoretically disqualify non-Harris votes. We'll get into that. I don't know that it's true. And we have non-citizens on the voter rolls in Iowa at a time when you've got a couple weird polls suggesting Democrats might win Iowa. So people naturally are deeply concerned. What I will say is, my friends, today, I don't know what to expect. I just know that with Joe Biden winning in 2020, it can be rationalized. I don't know how I could possibly rationalize Kamala Harris winning. I have to be honest. Joe Biden, he was Obama's guy. It reminded people of Obama. They thought they'd go back to the way things used to be. They were angry with Trump. COVID was bad. There's a lot of factors there. They were ballot harvesting. This time around, none of it would make sense. I mean, I was in downtown Philly and there are Trump flags. There were Harris signs too, but come on. Downtown Philly Trump flags? That's a deep blue area. Well, let's start with the SNL story. FCC commissioner claims Kamala Harris' SNL appearance violated equal time rule. Hollywood Reporter says, this is from the commissioner, quote, "This is a clear and blatant effort to evade the FCC's equal time rule." Commissioner Brendan Carr wrote on X. The FCC's equal time rule requires American radio and television stations to offer equal time to rival political candidates. However, the burden falls on the candidates to request those equal opportunities. And the agency's policy on the rule states, quote, "Equal opportunities generally means providing comparable time and placement to opposing candidates. It does not require a station to provide opposing candidates with programs identical to the initiating candidate." In his statement on social media, which an FCC rep noted did not represent the agency's official views, Carr wrote, "The purpose of the rule is to avoid exactly this type of biased and partisan conduct. A licensed broadcaster using the public airwaves to exert its influence for one candidate on the eve of an election, unless the broadcaster offered equal time to other qualifying campaigns." In a statement to the Hollywood Reporter, the FCC noted they have not made any determinations regarding political programming rules, nor have we received a complaint from any interested parties. Meanwhile, NBC has officially informed the FCC that Harris appeared on SNL without charge for 1 minute and 30 seconds, officially triggering a window for other campaigns to request time from the broadcaster. Though with only one full day before the election, the window to do so is small. No, it's impossible. Carr was appointed to the FCC by Trump in 2017. You can't bring the actual people who are running on because of election laws and equal time provisions, Michaels told the Hollywood Reporter and then clarified. You can't have the main candidates without having all the candidates. And there are lots of minor candidates that are only on the ballot in like 3 states. And that becomes really complicated. But they did it anyway. Well, let's talk about it. Harris's cameo on SNL featured the Democratic nominee in a conversation with herself, Maya Rudolph. "Now, Kamala, take my Pamela," Rudolph told the Veep. "The American people want to stop the chaos and end the drama with a cool new stepmama. I can't. It makes me want to punch the monitor. I have no qualms with people, but the monitor, that's mine. I own it." I'm kidding, everybody. Look, get back in her pajamas and watch a rom-Kamala like Legally Blondala. I'm going to throw up. Okay, well, anyway, NBC has filed an equal time notice, as we mentioned, and Trump has responded. Now, before I jump into Donald Trump's statement and what they ended up doing and why I think it's wrong, we do have a sponsor on today's morning show. That is preservegold.com/TimPool. Check it out. Thank you for sponsoring the show, Preserve Gold. We have a presidential election around the corner. Yeah, a day. And it's impossible to predict what will happen. However, whenever there's uncertainty, whether political or economic, demand for gold tends to go up. Financial experts are urging Americans to prepare now with inflation soaring, a border crisis affecting cities and small towns, and warnings of a recession. My friends, we are living in insane, unpredictable times. To protect your retirement accounts and 401ks, you should strongly consider physical gold and silver. Right now, Preserve Gold has an exclusive offer for my viewers where you can get up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with a qualified purchase as well as a free guide. Text TIM to 50505 to learn more or visit preservegold.com/TimPool. Preserve Gold has hundreds of 5-star reviews and millions of dollars in trusted transactions with happy clients. And hey, man, I don't know if you think you know what's going to go on, what's happening, but I just encourage everybody all the time to prepare in whatever way. Please consider it. Links in the description below. Here we go from the Daily Mail. So what happens next? NBC's olive branch to Trump after Harris's SNL appearance sparked backlash and claims it breached equal time rule. My friends, let me just stress, Donald Trump's appearance in this message, I don't think it was good. I don't think it was good. Let me play a little bit for you so you can hear. A special message from President Donald J. Trump.
Hello to our great sports fans, and I hope you're having a fantastic time. We're 2 days away from the most important election in the history of our country. We've got to save our country, and it needs saving. It's in very bad shape. The worst economic numbers in generations were just announced 2 days ago. We're losing jobs. We're losing everything, including viability. We're going to end up in a depression based on what's been happening. We've never seen anything like it, at least for the last 40 years. We have to straighten out our country. We have to close our borders. We have to lower our taxes. We have to get rid of inflation. And we're going to do it. Just remember, Kamala and her friends broke it. I'll fix it. Most important election in the history of our country. Go and vote.
And then it says swampthevoteusa.com. Listen, Kamala Harris did a skit on SNL where they were joking and laughing, and there are pros and there's cons to this. One could consider it deeply cringe to, not that I think Trump's message was all that great. And, here's what's going to happen. Democrats are going to say, oh, come on, Kamala, it was funny, it was fun, you're bad. Trump gave a great message. Dude, I ain't playing this game, okay? Kamala Harris getting an appearance on SNL is much, much more beneficial for her than Trump doing a PSA. And they know it. The goal with SNL is to create an endearing and likable personality, whether it's cringe or otherwise. I certainly think saying Amala over and over and over again is nails on a chalkboard over and over again. Chalkboardala, if you get my point. And Trump giving a PSA. But anyway, Trump giving a PSA is not going to compete with SNL. I think it's nails on a chalkboard. But what they're doing is they're putting her on a prime time, famous comedy show where people are laughing, having a good time. That's the game. Trump does not get an equal opportunity. Imagine this. You may think it's cringe, and I do, but they get people to laugh and hang out and have fun with Kamala. That's the plan. Whether it works is another question. Donald Trump got to speak and say, look, we're going to have a depression. It's the most important election. It's dry. It's boring. And I feel like the edit was not very good. The music is too loud. Look, it is what it is. Imagine if Donald Trump was on SNL making jokes and laughing. They would be humanizing him at a time when they're calling him Hitler. They will not allow that. So what ends up happening is Trump does not get the same opportunity as Kamala Harris. They do this to benefit her. We know it. We know they waited till the last minute to break the rules. Now, let's just add, the whole thing was ripped off from, look at this. It's crazy. It was Trump and, was it Jimmy Fallon? Kamala Harris's appearance has drawn comparisons by social media users to a skit with Trump and Jimmy Fallon. It's the exact same thing. They are trying to rip off what Trump did to win last time. There you go. There's the picture. But there's more. Michael Schellenberger says, in addition to illegally boosting Kamala Harris's NBC Saturday Night Live did a skit literally aimed at boosting the name recognition of Tim Kaine. Take a look at this. I'm going to play a bit of this for you. I'm going to skip around a little bit, but I'll play a little bit. You can see. So Tim Kaine is running against Hung Kao in Virginia. Hung Kao is amazing. He issued a statement. Statement from Captain Hung Kao on SNL's free airtime for Tim Kaine. He says, many of my supporters are saying I should sue NBC for giving free airtime to my opponent, Tim Kaine, right before the election. I disagree. I was barnstorming 12 towns and cities across Virginia yesterday, talking about how we're going to secure our border and lower prices, while Tim was being a human punchline in New York City. I want to thank NBC and Tim Kaine for making the contrast so clear about the stakes on Tuesday. This guy's great. He has one of the best campaign ads I've ever seen, and I hope he does win. But I got to tell you, he's trying to take this, I'm a serious naval veteran who wants to make this country strong, and I will be a strong leader. I respect it tremendously. And honestly, that's what I'd vote for. Tim Kaine has taken the, I'm a goofy guy you want to have a beer with. Come on. And you know what? Sorry. I do believe that the doddering, I can be your friend and a good leader thing plays better with regular people. We are no longer a military nation. You go back to World War II and people had great reverence. But these days, you have far leftists, you have moderates who literally don't care. I think that matters. That being said, I'm not saying the strategy of Hung Kao is wrong. I'm saying that's the strategy he's taking, and I think there's a reason he's going for it. He's not going to be a goofy guy to have a beer with like Tim Kaine is. He's going to be a serious and strong and effective leader. That's his strategy. I hope it plays out. Here's a little bit of the segment from SNL.
Welcome to What's That Name Election Edition. The rules are simple. We show you a person, you tell us their name. Our contestants today are Ben and Margaret.
This looks fun.
Great to be here.
And here's our first question. On Tuesday, this man could become our nation's first gentleman. What's that name?
That's my guy, Doug Emhoff. Love him.
That's indeed who he is.
Impressive. You've just won $5. Next question. This special counsel is currently pursuing legal action against former President Trump. What's that name?
He is a hero who doesn't wear a cape. Jack Smith.
Right again, that's $5 more to you. You seem really invested in the 2024 election.
Of course I am. This is the most important election in American history. Democracy is on the line.
Great.
I don't find anything's funny, to be
Our
honest.
next question is for
I find Tony Hinchcliffe to be funny.
$300,000. And here to ask it is the man himself.
Hi, I was Hillary Clinton's vice presidential running mate. At the time, you said it was the most important election in American history, and that democracy was on the line. It's been less than 8 years. What's my name?
Wow.
Hi, it is an honor.
You voted for me to be one heartbeat away from the Oval Office in an election more recent than the release of Zootopia. What's my name?
It's not my fault if he was a more memorable guy like Tim Walz.
This is very much a guy like Tim Walz. Let's see them side by side. Wow. Not only does he look exactly like Tim Walz, his name was also Tim.
What's up with that? Come
Really?
on.
His name
Leave
was
Tim out of this.
My name is still Tim. I exist. I'm a senator representing Virginia.
Of course you are.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there, and I'm just going to say this. There's pros and there's cons to this strategy. They're going for the doofy, I'm your friend, I can be a funny guy and build name recognition. It's right before the election, so I don't know that fundraising is going to be a big boon to this guy. And as much as people are saying this is flagrant election interference, as Michael Schellenberger, I'm not going to let anyone slide if they're violating equal time rules or doing any of that stuff, if that's what they are doing. But they kind of make Tim Kaine look like a loser. Sorry, I mean, dude. If the jokes they're making is that no one cares, no one cared, and they still don't. They make the point, it's the most important election. You said the last one was the most important election. It was less than 8 years ago. What's my name? You don't even know. He's as forgettable, they say memorable, as Tim Walz. I'm not so sure this is going to benefit him. But I'll stress, this is the game, like I'm saying. They want to make people funny and endearing. And that's what they're going for here. But they're also striking at his character. One of the things that people do when they vote is they don't want to vote for weak guys. I mean, this is kind of this. I wonder if the sketch was written by women. I'm not trying to drag women. I'm saying guys don't like this stuff. Guys, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Like Trump would never agree to something like this. Trump has a joke where I think it was SNL, maybe it's not. He goes, "What's the difference between Donald Trump's hair and a wet raccoon? A wet raccoon doesn't have $1 billion or $10 billion in the bank." And everyone laughs and cheers. And so it was self-deprecating, as Trump does sometimes, but with and I'm a billionaire. This is just Tim Kaine's forgettable and kind of a nobody. So I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what they're going for. But look, while the SNL thing is clearly a violation of the rules and Trump didn't get the same opportunity, I do think it's important to point out some of these other things like right here. And maybe I don't know if I'll do a longer segment on this because there's not much to say. Libs of TikTok says weird ballot shenanigans happening in Kentucky. If your ballot has any markings in any other boxes, make sure you ask for a new ballot or it could be potentially deemed inadmissible. Take a look at this. Someone posted a photo of this ballot they had received. I believe it's a mail ballot. And you can see that for those that are just listening, the box for Kamala Harris has a black period, a dot. It's a period. It's like the machine printed a dot in it. Well, if this is real, and I don't know that it is, here's what happens. If you accidentally mark a second ballot, a second person, it may disqualify. It doesn't mean it will. So let's say someone comes here and they fill out the box for Donald Trump. They feed the ballot into a machine and it says rejected, error detected. And they go, sorry, couldn't read your ballot. So if you're voting for Jill Stein, Kennedy, or Trump, or Chase Oliver, whoever else, it's going to say there's a glitch. But what if you fill out the box for Kamala Harris? It'll read no problem because your pen will cover up the blemish. You are voting for the box with the mark in it. I don't know that that's true, but people are reporting this, that they've seen it. And should that be correct, there's going to be a higher margin of failure for people who don't vote for Kamala Harris. If that margin is 0.1%, that means 1 in every 1,000 ballots gets rejected. Again, someone could have faked this. They could have made a fake ballot, printed it out, and they're trying to sow discord. We really don't know. This post has 2.3 million views. I think it's interesting to look at and talk about. But we are truly in an absolutely chaotic environment right now. Here we go from the Daily Wire. DHS says Iowa has hundreds of non-citizens on the rolls, but won't tell the state who they are. As we discussed in the earlier segment, the Seltzer poll shows Kamala Harris winning Iowa. Could that be because there are non-citizens who will be voting? I don't know. What I can tell you is I don't expect to get the results of this election anytime soon. I hope tomorrow night Trump wins so resoundingly they say the mail-in votes aren't going to change anything. Right now we have data on mail-in voting, and Republicans are leading. That means if Trump wins tomorrow, they're going to say mail-in votes that are expected to come in are going to be overwhelmingly for Trump, and thus Kamala Harris cannot win. But if they're mail votes from blue districts, they'll say, no, these coming in from Philadelphia are expected to be 60, 70% Kamala, so we need to see those numbers. The strong likelihood is that we do not get the results. Oh, boy. Yo, the betting markets are taking it really seriously. They're outright saying if there's no certification, you don't get paid. I wonder why they're hedging their bets. It's going to get interesting. I'm going to wrap it up there, my friends. Smash the like button. Share this video. Share the show with everyone you know. It's the big day. Go vote tomorrow. Tomorrow's the big day. Today's the eve of the big day. Become a member at timcast.com. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Stay tuned. More segments coming up today, and we will see you all then.